Welcome to the premiere of Metro Focus. Today we'll take you behind the scenes of a few great destinations Metro proudly serves by rail and bus, answer a few questions from real riders, and introduce you to some of the commuters you might meet along the way. Hi, I'm Lonnie Monroe with Metro Focus TV. Today we are in Georgetown at the well-renowned Georgetown Cupcakes. I'm sitting here with owner Sophie. Thank you so much, Sophie, for having us.
Our pleasure. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. So I know that you have so much success. You have a TLC show. Please tell us how it all got started for you.
Sure. Well, my sister Catherine and I grew up baking with our grandmother. She was from Greece and she baked everything from scratch. And she was a very strong influence on us in our early childhood. And we love baking. And we always said one day when we grow up, we're going to open a bakery. And we never thought it was possible because our parents always pressured us to, go to college and work for large companies. And then finally we said, we want to do this. Are we going to spend the rest of our life wondering what if? And so we just quit our jobs in the summer of 2007. Our parents weren't happy about it, and we opened Georgetown Cupcake on Valentine's Day 2008.
So much success.
A wonderful time. Yeah. All of our bakeries, including the one here in Georgetown, have open kitchens where you can see the cupcakes being baked, you can see the eggs being cracked, the milk being poured.
How early does it start for you guys? When we came in, it was clearly everything was moving. You guys have been working for quite some time already. So.
Well, it's funny because when we quit our jobs to start Georgetown Cupcake, my sister and I thought, it will have a relaxing time. We'll have a quiet bakery. Drink some coffee, read some magazines, bake some cupcakes, be your own boss. And
so
now
organic.
Our hours are even worse than they were before. Because being a baker is really tough because we start early in the morning. We start various times depending on the time of the year and how many orders we have. But generally, our bakery is almost a 24/7 operation now. By the time we close for the day at 9 p.m., we're cleaning the bakery and preparing for the next day, and then bakers will come in as early as 2 or 3 a.m. to start fixing the batters for the next morning, for the early morning deliveries.
Wow. What made you choose Georgetown?
Our brand is very kind of cozy and small, and there's something very cozy and quaint and charming about Georgetown. I think it's a good match. It's not a daunting place. When you come into Georgetown, everyone's very friendly.
Right.
It's a very charming and sweet, and we love that feel, and I think it's a good fit for a bakery.
Of course, and not to mention the fact that it's Metro accessible.
Yes.
You have the entire 30 line that runs on Wisconsin Avenue.
Yeah. Our most common question on the phone here is, which Metro stop is closest? And we're always saying Foggy Bottom or Ralston, and it's a toss-up because we're right between the two.
So you said you had other locations.
So we're open in Bethesda too. So if you take the Metro to Bethesda, we're right on Bethesda Row. And then outside the DC area, we're open in New York City now, in Boston, Los Angeles, and Atlanta.
Nice.
See, we're actually launching a live feed camera 24/7 into our bakery starting in January. For us, it's cool to share that experience because it is kind of like a little workshop in here. Everything's made from scratch. All the font decorations are made by hand, and so viewers can see that. So if you can't sleep in the middle of the night, you can just log on, and Catherine and I will be popping up and we'll be doing demonstrations. We'll be announcing our secret flavor on the video as well. And so for those of you who don't know, every day at Georgetown Cupcake we give out 100 free cupcakes. So if you follow us online on Facebook or Twitter, we announce a secret flavor every day. It's not on the menu, but if you come in and you ask for it, it's absolutely free.
Oh wow, I will definitely be doing so and coming quite often. So tell us about some of the cupcakes we have on the table here.
Sure. So the neat thing about running a bakery is coming up with all of these new flavors, and Catherine and I love doing that. And so we have over 100 different flavors on our menu that rotate throughout the year. There's some every day on the menu, like our standard red velvet and chocolates and vanillas, but we mix it up with seasonals. Here we have some of our most popular ones. Our red velvet cupcake with a vanilla cream cheese frosting is by far the most popular cupcake on the menu over the past 8 years. It's been the number one
classic.
Exactly. We have, for the more traditional customer, we have a chocolate with vanilla buttercream, and this is our chocolate birthday cupcakes. We have our peanut butter fudge, which is a cult favorite. It is cored and filled with fudge in the middle, topped with our peanut butter frosting. This is my sister's favorite flavor. And we have our cookies and cream cupcake, which is infused with Oreo cookie and Oreo buttercream too. So we mix it up. There's something for everyone. If you like lemon, we've got lemon. We have carrot. We have coconut. We have key lime. We have the holidays, gingerbread, Valentine's Day. We do all kinds of raspberry chocolate chips and strawberries. In the spring, we do a cherry blossom cupcake. And so that for us, that's the fun part, coming with all these different flavors and keeping it seasonal. So every time you come in, there's something new.
Different. Right.
Yeah. We do deliveries all across DC, and we also do pickups. So if you don't want to wait in line or you're in a rush, just go on our website, choose your pickup time, and come right in. We'll have them ready for you.
Nice. Well, thank you so much, Sophie. I can't wait to try one of my cupcakes. Thank you for having us, and great and success for you for everything that you have going on.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Our pleasure.
Hi, this is Lonnie Monroe. I'm here at the world's famous Jazz and Supper Club Blues Alley with the owner, Harry Schnipper. So Harry, tell me a little bit about your establishment.
We are 50 years old this year.
Very nice.
Lonnie, we are America's oldest continuously operated jazz supper club, located in the heart of the Georgetown community.
Give me some of your notable performers.
Everybody from Ella Fitzgerald to Count Basie to Wynton Marsalis to last week was internationally renowned trumpeter Arturo Sandoval, who came up through the ranks of Dizzy Gillespie. They say that this is the house that Dizzy built.
Very nice. Give us an idea how Metro impacts your community here.
Isn't that curious that you should say? I would tell you by saying that the Universal Metro crossroads intersect just outside my door, because you have the Foggy Bottom Metro, you've got the Roslyn Metro, you even have the Dupont Circle Metro. And in between all of that, you have the 30s lines that intersect outside my door. So you can virtually get around from Chevy Chase to Anacostia at all points in between, and they go literally outside my door. Anybody of any age and any ilk, as long as they can sit up straight in a chair, are welcome to come to the club. We have our own Blues Alley Youth Orchestra. We have our own summer jazz camp for children. And we encourage children as the next generation of jazz artists and audiences alike.
Music has no limit on age, that's for sure. So
we are open 360 days a year. We have 2 sets a night. We have internationally renowned performers every weekend, and throughout the week we feature local performers. I often look at the landscape of Washington, D.C. I dined yesterday at Billy Martin's Tavern, which is about to celebrate its 85th birthday.
Wow.
You look at the Tombs in 1789. You look at Mr. Smith's in Georgetown. There are countless iconic locations which have a indomitable presence upon the Georgetown landscape. They haven't disappeared. They may have changed locations a couple of times. They're not only watering holes, but they are hot cuisine, and they intend to attract an international community. We are an iconic and internationally recognized neighborhood. Apart from our name, we were a bustling waterfront 250 years ago, and as we've evolved, so too has the architecture. So the residents here really are symbolic. I mean, we're sitting in a 250-year-old stable, and you have beautiful residences that surround us. But think about it for a moment, Lonnie. You've also got Georgetown University, George Washington University. So if we didn't have the shops and the retailers and the bustle here, well, we would be a college neighborhood. So you have to kind of pick and choose from your point of view. And then if you drill down a little bit further, we have embassies. So now we've got maybe an ambassador's residence. And as you add these things up, it has international cachet. So the future is really developing new jazz audiences.
not to mention the work that you do with education and the children, as you were sharing. You have your children groups that come out and perform as well. So you're always giving back, which is encouraging.
Yes, we had the Blues Alley Youth Orchestra here on Monday night, and I was presented with the 2015 Jazz Educator of the Year Award. So,
nice.
Frankly, I think if you live long enough, Lonnie, you get acknowledged that your efforts and contributions and giving back are all appreciated.
Well, you're doing something right, that's for sure.
Well, ride Metro.
Thank
I
you
do.
so much, Harry. Thank you for having us.
Indeed.
The name is Paul Wiedefeld. My dad would always tell the story, or when people tripped over our name, he'd say, if you and I were standing on a balcony and we fell off, Wiedefeld. So it sort of stuck. I come from a large family. There were 6 of us, very close knit family. My dad was a firefighter, my mom was a secretary, and so we just have been, it's an extended family that still remains relatively close geographically. As a child, as a young man, when I came to Washington, it was about some of the government buildings, the mall, and the metro. The metro to me, it has been, and the people I would bring from out of state, it's like a Disney ride. It's like it's like the monorail. It was something you had to do. When you think of one of our stations, it is an iconic photo. When you see one of our stations anywhere, it's immediate. You know what it is. It's like, okay, that's Washington. That's a cool system, and that's the way that that's the way that I think about the system today. Still, to maintain that pride, is we have to perform better on some of the decisions that we've been making. The public, I've got to work with the media. I've got to work with the stakeholders that, besides the riders, there's a lot of people out there. They want to see us succeed, though. That is one thing I've noticed across the board. I've met with all types of people in the region, and they want to see this agency succeed. I need to understand where people come from. I think they need to understand where I'm coming from. So I just want, any chance I get to communicate that, I think is very important. To me, if we build on respect, that brings a lot of people along the way. Will we get all 13,000? No, of course not. That's, I wish I could get my family just to move all in one direction. That does not happen. But, at the end of the day, I know that, the vast majority of the 13,000 are just so positive about what we do. They need that reinforced. They want to be proud when they go home, treat each other with respect, treat the customer as you would want to be treated. Just continue to chip away at those types of things. That starts to change the culture. And I think that will go a very long way in getting us there. I'm a bit of a bulldog, and I'm not going to let go of what I'm trying to achieve here, and I will continue to do that, and we will turn this thing around for sure.
Hi, I'm Lonnie Monroe. I'm here at the Phillips Collection Museum with Rogelio, Membership Manager. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for coming, and welcome to the Phillips Collection.
Yes, I'm so excited. Please tell us everything about it.
Well, the Phillips Collection is America's first museum of modern art. We were founded in 1921 by Duncan Phillips right here in Dupont Circle. He opened his home on Q and 21st Street to the public to share his collection of work. Today we have 4,000 works of art. They include French Impressionist work, American Modernist work that Duncan Phillips collected, and some contemporary works of art that we are acquiring. And every year we welcome about 150,000 visitors.
Very nice.
Yeah. So we're always open to the public. Tuesdays through Friday, our permanent collection is free. If you'd like to see one of our special exhibitions or you're visiting on the weekend, it's $12 for the public. So we do have a membership program, which is my role here at the institution. Members are our donors, our closest friends. Membership is a charitable contribution. It starts at $60 for an individual. We have different levels with different benefits, depending on your interests and your ability to join.
So coming here this morning, I took the train, obviously, and I got off at the Dupont Circle exit. It's so close.
Nice, yeah, just a couple of minutes, right?
Yes, literally walking distance. Once you get off that Q Street exit, it's right there.
It's very commuter friendly, so anyone who's coming from Maryland or Virginia who wants to see the Phillips, it's an easy ride. We have a lot of international tourists who come to the Phillips Collection.
Not to mention, when you leave the doors, there's so much life going on here in Dupont Circle.
Yeah.
Restaurants, dinners, bars, so much to do here in Dupont Circle. Matter of fact, how do you like being in Dupont Circle?
Yeah, I think Dupont Circle is fantastic. Always lots to do.
For sure.
Lots of energy. It's nice when members or guests are here in the institution and they spend a couple hours looking at art and they just want to take a break and need a treat. We have lots to recommend for them to do outside of the museum. There's a great sort of energy in this neighborhood, and you definitely feel it here in the institution, particularly in some of our events like Phillips After 5, which is one of our evening events. It's very full, very popular, and lots of great energy.
Nice.
Our current special exhibition is Gauguin to Picasso Masterworks from Switzerland. It's a very popular exhibition. It's visiting us from the Kunstmuseum, and it's got some works of art that are making their only stop in America here at the Phillips Collection, and I think it's definitely a treat that you don't want to miss. In February, we'll be opening a new exhibition, Seeing Nature. It's Paul Allen's personal collection of works, landscape works, very compelling paintings of the Grand Canyon and Venice. It's going to be a really lovely exhibition.
What have been some of your favorite exhibitions and some of your most notable artists?
Sure. Well, in 2013, we had an exhibition, Van Gogh Repetitions, which was just a huge hit for the institution. I think everybody loved it. We had tons of people coming, local and international, and definitely a staff favorite. And we also partnered with Metro. Some of the works from that exhibition were being featured on the Metro cards, and I think that was like a nice little treat.
For sure, for sure. It's definitely a collector's piece, and I know a lot of our customers still use them today.
Oh, yeah?
And give me a little bit idea of like the layout here. So I know we're here on the first floor.
So you are in the first floor of our new building. So the Phillips Collection is actually two buildings joined together.
Nice.
The first building is the original Georgian Revival home of Duncan Phillips. And then the building that we're in now is our annex sort of new building. And right in this floor where we're standing now, as I mentioned, is recent acquisitions, all contemporary art. If you head up to the top floor of this building, you'll see our special exhibition. Right now, Gauguin to Picasso, and in February, Seeing Nature. And then it links, of course, to Duncan Phillips' original home. And in that building, you'll see a lot more of our permanent collections, including our very famous Renoir painting, Luncheon at the Boating Party, which is, I think, one of the must-sees here at the Phillips Collection.
So I know, like you said, parking's tough around this area, right here by Dupont Circle. How has that impacted your museum here, having that metro station right there?
I think it's a very commuter-friendly city, and most people are using the metro, and I would say a lot of our visitors, if not most, are using the metro to get here as well. So I think in terms of our growth and our reach and how many people get to visit us, it's definitely a boon to be next to the Dupont metro station.
Sounds like I need a membership for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for having us, Rogelio.
Of course, thank you for coming.
A beautiful exhibit here. Thank you.
Of course, thank you for coming. I'm so happy to have you.
We are sitting in the ultra chic, beautiful Calabash Tea and Tonic with its beautiful owner, Sunyata. Thank you so much for having us.
It's my pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. So please tell us how you got started.
Well, I am a fifth-generation herbalist, and the other side of my family, I'm a fourth or fifth generation allopath in terms of them being medical doctors or dentists, etc. So I feel like I'm the intersection point of those two things. So what we have really is a thinly disguised apothecary. So when people come in and they say, well, what's your favorite tea or what's the best tea here? I ask them, well, how do you feel? And then how do you want to feel? And that's how we judge what we give people.
So there's a lot of health benefits, obviously.
Everything we do, the food, the drink, everything is engineered for greater health and happiness.
I must say I had some chai tea when I came in and I'm feeling quite happy and healthy.
Thank you. You had the Love Potion number 10,
Oh.
which is my grandmother's original recipe. So I can't be held responsible for what might happen later.
So tell me, how did you choose this neighborhood? You're sitting in Shaw Howard, you're metro accessible, it's a prime location.
I just felt all the history of this being a traditional neighborhood of color, these businesses here, and going down U Street, that this is a very vibrant community. We see people from all walks of life. We see lots of students from Howard University because they cut off the metro and they come past us. We see doctors and nurses. It's a place where people live and work and play in this area.
Wow. So what I have to know, what's your favorite thing on the menu? If I had one thing I could pick, what would you suggest to me?
The one thing, the chai that you had earlier is like the queen of the shop. It's warm, it's rich, it's warming to the insides. And it's a foundational element of our shop because it's one of the first teas that I learned to make from my grandmother. So I love it above all others, but don't tell the others. It's like children, you can't tell them your favorite.
They'll get jealous.
Yes.
And you also have baked goods. I see that you have salads as well, so you can get pretty much everything you need here.
We do, and the same thing applies, where what's in the salads are things that are good for your health. Even our baked goods are infused with herbs that we have in our shop. Some teas are also infused into the foods. So we make it our business to give people what they need.
Mm-hmm. And you think about your competitors, you're offering a much more organic, natural product that you're not able to find in some places. So.
That's true. First of all, there's no competition.
Oh.
but no. But seriously, we have farmers from Jamaica, we have farmers from Cuba, we have farmers from Brazil. These people send product to us or through our distributors to us, and we really like the ability to call them personally and say, you know, we're happy to serve your product in a very vibrant city and that people enjoy what you're making.
And when people come in, they'll actually see some beautiful artifacts. Your salon here is very vibrant, it has a lot of history, I know. So tell us where you got most of your pieces from.
Well, there are local artists who provided some of the artwork that's here, and we're proud that they love our place so much that sometimes they paint stuff and just bring it and hang it up. And it's so great. But a lot of the furniture was things that, you know, my grandparents had. My great-grandparents came from Syria and they brought all these rugs. I'm like, how did you travel with rugs? I don't even understand. But we had more rugs than we had floor in our homes. So we decided to make the place homey, to make it look like a sort of glammed up version of what our houses look like.
Right.
And that's our goal, is to have people feel comfortable here.
Right. And like you said, we're minutes away from Shaw Howard's metro station. You also have the 70 buses, the G buses that run through here. Tell us how being that close to a metro, the bus capability, how that's impacted your business.
Oh, it's tremendous. Just imagining that it's right on the same block, and so it's steps away, is really easy to have people navigate. When we say we're at the Howard Shaw Metro Station, we really mean it.
For sure.
And so when they get out, they have no trouble at all navigating to our door.
Well, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
We look forward to coming back. Love Potion.
Love Potion. We've got all kinds of other naughty bits.
Okay, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Part of the NTSB early recommendations, we committed to doing a quarterly drill. So our first drill was in the spring, April. We did that in Prince George's County, Maryland at Greenbelt Station. And again in the summertime, we did a DC Armory with DC Fire Department. And then today we're here with Montgomery County Police Department. A bus operator came across his baggage, deems it suspicious, evacuated his bus per the protocols, called in the Metro Transit Police Department.
Do you want 2 stations set up?
We in turn sent a police K-9 there. The K-9 indicated that there was something definitely suspicious there.
And we set up to do a remote shot.
Called in our explosive ordnance disposal team, or EOD. They came in, x-rayed the package, and deemed it suspicious.
Well, see, the pack's got to be sitting on the ground, doesn't it?
And then they disrupted.
Track 2, Forrest, go ahead. I got train ID 800 and approach Silver Spring. Third car back, report of flames.
The train came across smoke.
There are 2 people or 3 people on the train that are visually impaired.
There's a fire on the third car.
permission to go back and investigate.
The fire department had to do an evacuation. They evacuated 55 customers without incident along the right-of-way.
We need to evacuate the customers from the affected car to the non-affected car. How you copy?
Yeah, this should be the last one going out.
4 on the E-Tart tech cart, the one with the dog walk.
I
got permission to walk through this time and clear.
Just let us know when you're clear and you got everybody out of here.
Primary, secondary searches of the train car are negative. The last of the 5 occupants are on their way out now.
These drills are very important to us, not just to Metro and WMATA, but also to the region. It brings all the first responders together, interacting with the police department, the fire department, Metro operations, and getting everybody lockstep so if and when these incidents occur, we're better off for it. The drills help prepare us for those days, unfortunately, that do happen sometimes, but I think the things we have to continue to strive on is communication, not just internally, externally, obviously, with our riders, how situations like this have a ripple effect on the system and how they're impacted down the line. So it's really communication is one thing we always strive for, unified command, accountability. Those are all the things, objectives we're always trying to meet at each one of these drills.
My name is Tony Stevens, and this is Palmer. I'm a father, an advocate. I'm married and have 2 young sons, a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, and I'm a daily rider of Metro. I'm originally from Atlanta, but we moved down here 5-6 years ago from New York City. I work for a nonprofit in Virginia that focuses on advocacy for people who are blind, and so I do a lot of work up on Capitol Hill and with different coalitions for disability issues in and outside the Beltway. I pretty much ride Metro every day. I definitely am a rail person. You know, the bus is nice and convenient. There's nothing more nice than on a nice cold snowy day you get on one of those really nice warm buses with the heat blasting out. But you know, when we were looking for a place to live, we wanted to be as close to the rail as we could, just mainly for reliability, for convenience. You don't worry about traffic. Moving down from New York City, where the city's so, you know, sort of accessible via rail, we wanted something similar when we moved down to Washington. One of the things about being blind is, you know, I can't drive a car. I have to rely on, you know, bus or rail. I don't use Metro access. I try to be as independent as I can. So pretty much I use rail or bus to really do all I can to get anywhere I need to go throughout the district. I take the kids out, we go on adventures on weekends. I like my boys to know how to use public transit. And to know that, you know, it's something that they can also maybe do when they get older. You don't have to have a car to be able to get around. So we pretty much use public transit for everything to get around in the town. One of the things about transportation is you really interact with people on a daily basis. I'm constantly humbled and pleased by a sense that people are very accommodating on the trains. You know, when I get on and I have my dog, people are constantly saying, you know, do you want a seat here? Or this train's going to, you know, Greenbelt, or this train's going to Virginia or Branch Avenue or wherever it is. You know, people are always willing to help, especially the conductors when they're, you know, walking to and from the platform. They're always good to tell me what train is what. You know, it's very rare that I'll get on a train and I get kind of the silent person sitting in the seat that refuses to move. You know, that's the exception, not the rule. Palmer here, he's pretty good with transit. He was trained up in New York City, so he knows how to get on the subway. He knows how to ride buses. And you know, one of the hardest things about the animal is that people constantly want to come up and pet him. And when he's in harness, he's on the clock, he's working. The nice thing is when we get home, the harness comes off and he gets to be a dog again. And he gets to play with the kids and run through the backyard. You know, for me, it's not just a way of life, because since I can't drive a car, you know, it's kind of a philosophy as well. I mean, I'd like to think that, you know, not only people who cannot drive a car have to rely on it. I'd like to think that public transportation is important for everybody. You know, the more we use it, the better it is on the environment, the better it is, you know, to just reduce traffic and to make it easier. It brings people together. You know, it makes us not isolated in a box. All in all, I think that transportation, for me, it's a thing for independence. You know, it's important to be able to find a job that's near transportation for me. Otherwise, you know, the choices are greatly limited. So the places I choose to live have to be accessible, and the places I choose to work have to be accessible. So without transportation, that shuts the whole puzzle down, and it really affects the quality of life.
Thanks for riding with us at Metro Focus. In our next edition, we'll visit the old and new in Northern Virginia.